Jessoing the, what is it, Mountain Dew?
Yeah.
Hi, everybody. Oh, and I just realized that, why am I getting a big old shadow there? Oh, well, I'll move those so we won't have that. Forgot to get my YouTube on. Hello, hello. Glennis. Jello Glennis. Good to see you. I know Glennis has been waiting for this one. She's been asking me about doing the string pulls. Hello, Debbie. Welcome, welcome. Hi, Sylvia. So glad to see you. I'm sorry I've been so busy last week and I haven't checked in with you very much to see how you're feeling. But I've been thinking about you a lot. So I hope you know that. And I hope you're feeling better. A little bit better every day at least. That's all we can hope for, right? Let's see, here we go. I'm getting YouTube up so we can watch that. Hey, Margie. There we go. All right, I got YouTube on. Oh, here we are ready to start on time and everybody else isn't here. New motto, start on time, end on time. Better tell everybody we're starting on time, so they better not wait anymore.
Always be like, we'll believe it when we see it.
Exactly. Well, you just saw it. We just started at 12 o'clock. So how's everybody doing? Sylvia, are you going to play along with us with your alcohol inks? I don't think Margie is. Margie will be watching chat from the chat and answering questions. Candy and Linda are with me today. Say hi, ladies.
Hi.
Hi, everybody.
So you can't see Linda, but you can hear Linda. You snooze, you lose. That's right. That is right. Oh, yay, Sylvia's going to do it with us. So Candy is going to be doing alcohol inks along beside me. And Linda will be watching chat today and reading out, the jokes because, of course, we need the laugh too because, we get stressed as well. And read any questions so we can make sure we stay up on it. I am going to go ahead and get started, though, because there is so much. Hi, Sandy. Hola. Hola, Miss Sandy. Debbie's organizing her desk. Nice. No room to work. There is so much to talk about with alcohol inks. There are so many different techniques and so many things to do that if we don't get started, we will just run out of time. As it is, we will probably have two or three, another one or two, so 2 or 3 total Monday jump starts that we'll do alcohol inks, and we will do different techniques, different ways to use them at every single one. We will not repeat them because there are so many different ways. Hi, Toby. Laura, your desk's not too bad yet, but you're only 3 sheets in on this journal. Okay, that's funny. Okay, so I'm going to focus on my desk. Linda's going to focus on the chat. Remember, if you have a question, please put a few question marks. Write the question all in caps, and then put a few question marks after it. You know what? Let's change that. Why not? Let's just change it up because this might be easier. If you have a question, write the word question all in caps. And then after that, write your question, and your question doesn't have to be in caps. Just write the word question in caps. That way, it'll be really easy for Linda to scan and see if there's a question, because the word question in caps will be the first thing in your message. And then you can type out the question not in caps, and then she can read that out so we make sure we get them all answered. So I'll tell you what I have with me today. So if you're playing along, you might want to have these things too. Or if you don't, you can see how they go to see what you might want to add later if you do. I have with me some plastic paper. This is a plastic craft paper. Graphics brand. You could use. I've got some Basil brand. I've got some Yupo. They're all the same thing. It doesn't matter what brand you use. What is important about this paper is that it is non-porous. So you can use alcohol ink on any surface, literally any surface, and we'll talk about that more. But if you want to move the alcohol ink around and maybe get something like this, or you've seen some of the others that I've done, then you need something that is non-porous. Go ahead, Linda.
Sylvia wants to know, does our background substrate need to be gested?
If it is non-porous, it does not need to be gessoed at all. If it is not non-porous, therefore, if it is porous, then yes, it does need to be gessoed. You can do alcohol ink on a canvas. You could do it on metal. Metal is non-porous, so it would not need to be gessoed. You could do it on glass. That is non-porous, so it does not need to be gessoed. But say I want to do it on a watercolor paper or regular, this is just a kind of a lightweight, medium weight cardstock. If you wanted to do it on that, that would need to be gessoed if you want to move the alcohol ink around. We will use this lightweight cardstock or medium cardstock. You can even use regular paper, doesn't matter. And we'll use this watercolor paper when we get to doing the string pull. And I'll show you, we'll talk about more of that when we get to it. But that we don't want to be a slick surface because we don't want the ink to move it around. We want it to soak in immediately. And you'll see why. So, but if we want to move the alcohol ink around and get some of these cool things. Now here's one that is really, really saturated, almost oversaturated in color. And now I could go back with a fine brush like on this one and maybe put some gold in it, because this one I did not put any alloys or I think there is a little bit of mixative in with it, but I didn't put any of the metallics in with it. It's only the colors. It's black and turquoise, and I think there was some slate in there and silver. So yeah, and so then often I'll go back and add the gold or the silver with paintbrush. So could do that. But I have decided that this is just way over too saturated. So I am actually going to put alcohol on it and work with it again. It doesn't matter that it's dry. It is still alcohol ink. So as soon as you add alcohol to it, it reignites it, brings it back to life and makes it liquid again. And you can start from scratch. Okay, so I have the Yupo, the graphics, the plastic paper, and I have alcohol, regular isopropyl alcohol. 91% is best. And this is with a fine tip so that I can squirt this on where I want it. I have alcohol in a small spritz bottle. I don't want a giant spray, but I want a small spritz. And I have, where is my pipette? And I walk around the other side of the room. I need my pipette. Pipettes. These are the same three things that are in those little alcohol toolkits that we had at the sale. For anybody who might not have those, if you're a candle maker, you probably already have these products. Oh, come on, pipette. I know there's one. There's one. Okay. Pipette. I think there was three pipettes, one of each of those bottles, the spritz bottle, the pour bottle, and the fine metal tip pipette. So this allows us to squirt alcohol, to spritz alcohol, and to drop drips or drops of alcohol. That's why we have those three tools. And then I have blending solution. Honestly, I rarely use blending solution. I like what I get with alcohol. But there are certain times when you must use blending solution. So we'll talk about that. Hand sanitizer is probably the best way to clean alcohol ink. I put on gloves just because I have a doctor's appointment right after this, and I don't have time to really work on cleaning my hands. So I'm just going to take them off, but I don't typically wear gloves. And hand sanitizer on your hands, hand sanitizer on your glass mat. Now, whatever you're working on, you want to make sure that it is non-porous. Otherwise, the alcohol ink will just go right into it, if it gets on your mat. And I'm looking for one more thing over here. There we go. So any glass mat, any piece of glass, silicone will work. If you have a silicone mat, any of those work just fine. I like to work on the glass, any of the glass mats, because it's super easy to clean up. I just squirt some hand sanitizer on it. First, I'll just take a baby wipe and do it with a baby wipe. It depends on how much I have, how long it's been sitting there, how thick it is, how dry and how hard and caked on it is. But if the baby wipe doesn't take it up super easily, then I'll just squirt a little bit of alcohol on it or hand sanitizer on it, and then use the baby wipe and pick it up that way. I also have the Tim Holtz Air Tool. Now, some people have tried the baby booger thing. I don't feel like I get enough movement from this, but if you have one, it's worth a try. You will get some movement. And depending on how large your piece is you're working on, it might be enough. I also have, we'll work with a little bit later, just in case I want them, I have a splatter brush, and I have a couple brushes because there's different alternatives of things that we can do. And then I have off to the side a hair dryer, because we can also move the alcohol ink with the hair dryer on low. So first I'm going to put some alcohol into this little dish here, and the only reason I'm doing that is so that I can get it with my pipette and not have to constantly take the lid off of this one. So any little dish that you can put alcohol, doesn't even matter, I'll just leave that off. Any little dish that you can put alcohol ink in is perfect. Actually, I'm going to set those aside a minute. We'll use those when we're talking about pearls. So we have, they're all alcohol inks. Linda, I forgot to tell you also, tell us when new people come into the room so we can say hi for sure. Because then I won't even have to look at chat there, but I definitely want to say hi to everybody.
Okay, I wasn't keeping track of that.
Sorry. So I might just have to scroll back.
Christy's here.
Hi, Christy. Are you playing along with us, Christy?
Debbie's here. Dawn is here.
Debbie, hi, Dawn. Okay. Jello, everybody. All right. Something else I want to remind you to pay attention to is the color wheel. And the reason the color wheel is important with alcohol ink and also with paints, like if you're putting paints on the gel plate or some of the other techniques that we do, like through stencils and things. When you put colors that are side by side on the color wheel, they're going to look very nice together. They're going to blend together. They're going to complement each other. They look great. If you put colors that are across the wheel from each other and they get mixed together, they're going to turn to mud. Now, that doesn't mean that you can't use colors that are across from each other. Go ahead, Linda.
No, I didn't say.
Oh, sorry. I thought you started to talk. Okay. So you can use colors that are across from each other on the wheel and not have them turn to mud. But the key is, no matter what you're doing, whether it's paint or alcohol ink or anything else, is that when you use one, you have to have it completely dry before you add the other. So if I put blue down and the blue is completely dry, then I could bring orange in and do orange on it. But there's even other things you have to be aware of in alcohol ink, because alcohol ink has alcohol in it. And if I put blue down, even though it's dry, I bring orange in and it's got alcohol in it, it's going to reactivate the blue, right? So you have to think about even sealing it. So you just want to be aware of, we're going to use everything wet. So we don't want to use things that are across the color wheel from each other so much that we're just going to end up with mud. And there's also other ways that we can set them down on the paper and not have them completely mixed. So we'll try that. There will be times that we can use that. But if you have tried it, or you are, you start experimenting with your alcohol inks and you get a bunch of mud, just know that that is why. That's exactly why. I will also say that the first time you use alcohol ink, don't expect to have super great results and get a fabulous piece of art. You may be very pleasantly surprised. You may also go, what? What is that? You just don't know. Alcohol ink is one of those things that we cannot control. And that's part of the reason we like it, because we never know exactly what we're going to get. We can use techniques, but we still don't know exactly what we're going to get. It's a surprise, and that's fun. It's very art fun. And you don't ever have to stop until you like it. It's not something that once it's dry, okay, you're done. That's it. You have to stop with whatever you got. You can reactivate it with alcohol or blending solution and keep going until you have something you like. You can add other colors, alloys, mixatives, pearls, and keep going until you have something that you like. So you're not ever stuck with anything, but yet you don't ever know exactly what you're going to get. So we like that kind of mystery. That is a lot of fun. But I know that it took me a while. The first few times I used it, I thought, okay, that looks really easy. He grabs, Tim Holtz, he grabs this and he starts doing this. Okay, I can do that. Mine did not look like his. And, I wasn't sure why, because I thought I was doing what he was doing. And that's why I said that we'll do more than one of these on a Monday Jumpstart, because, even more than just picking this up and squeezing it, there's technique to doing it. And then other things you do along the way with it that can help. And once you start to get a feel for it, and it's mostly getting a feel for what everything will do, how things will react when you do this to them or that to them, then you'll start to be comfortable with them, and you'll start getting some really cool things that you like. Another thing to remember with alcohol ink is that you don't always have to look at it as a full piece. I'm looking at this and there's way too much silver on it. So I might just reactivate some of it and redo something. But I also kind of look at this here and say, I really love this corner right there. I love the purple. I love the turquoise that's sticking out. And I love this that looks like it's been rained on. That's kind of cool. And so often with alcohol ink, you're doing a piece like this, but you don't necessarily use it like this. You might cut this out and use this. You might punch out a big heart or cut out a background for a card, or, a background for a sentiment on something. So you can look at it as a whole, and then you can look at it as pieces, parts and pieces.
Marianne.
Yeah.
Laura wants to know if, after you make pieces, can we do a make where you use the alcohol papers?
Say that again. After
you make the pieces of paper like you're doing right now, can you do a make where you use the papers?
Oh, where we use the papers that we've made with alcohol, use those to make something with. Yes. Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's a great idea, Laura. That's a great idea. Yes. Okay, so would you guys like to put in some color, put in some colors you'd like to see? I'll set this here so that you can kind of remember. We want to do colors that are kind of by each other, that are 2 or 3 colors that are next to each other on the color chart, but maybe pick some colors that you would like to see combinations, some color combinations that you'd like. Linda, maybe you can jot a couple of them down, and we'll start with one and we'll try some different things. I didn't bring all my alcohol inks off the wall, but I brought a lot of them. I think I've got colors from every color grouping. I brought a bunch of pearls, a bunch of alloys and mixatives. Okay. So I could just pick some, but it's kind of fun when they pick some.
Glynis would like to see green and purple.
Green and purple. Well, okay, we can try that. They're not next to each other on the wheel. They're not completely across from each other, but they are kind of sort of across from each other. So we might get some mud out of that, but we'll use a technique to try not to. Okay, well, let me find a good green and purple. What else do we have suggested?
Just greens. Laura likes just greens.
Just greens. Okay, shades of greens.
Right. Dawn wants purple, green, and gold.
What is it with purple and green today, people? That's funny.
Sylvia wants peacock colors.
Oh, a woman after my own heart.
Yeah, me too.
Let's see, peacock colors. Would we call that cobalt or indigo? Probably, let's see. We do. Oh, super writer. I'm going to use that one. And let's see, we would need maybe mermaid in there. That might be a good one. What else is in peacock? The greens and purples and blues.
And gold.
Right. Now see, if we have purple and blue and we add green, we're still staying next to each other on the color wheel. It's the purple and the green without any blue in it that end up across from each other. So we'll be able to see the difference. Okay, and gold?
Yeah, there's gold.
Okay. All right, so we'll do a gold with these. So your alloys, mixatives, and pearls all have a mixing ball in them. And so before you use them, you want to mix them up. And sometimes you start shaking them and you don't hear it. Well, that one did right away. If you don't hear it, just keep shaking till you do. And then just shake it for a minute after you hear it so that you know it's well mixed. And when I'm going to sit down and start playing with alcohol inks, I'll usually just let my pearls lay on their sides. The alcohol inks, I've got several trays here. This has got pinks and yellows and oranges and reds and browns. And then I've got another tray over here with purples, greens, blues, and like the black slate mushroom, those kinds. But I'll let the pearls lay on their side because they have this resin in them, and that helps it start to come to the side, which will make it easier to mix. We're going to do something with the pearls after. Let's just start with regular alcohol ink. Actually, I think I'll grab a bigger sheet right here. Okay. Okay, so this is plastic or Yupo, any one of those types of non-absorbent papers. That's what this is. You cannot tear it. It is like plastic surface, non-absorbent. If you get a mailer or something in the mail or a box or something that you can disassemble and it's got that plastic coating on it, you can do alcohol ink on that. Okay, so before I even put down the alcohol ink, I'm going to put down some alcohol. And this is one of the things that I found when I first started. I went, okay, I put the alcohol ink down and then maybe I sprayed it a bit or maybe I gave it a little alcohol. And I just wasn't getting the same movement as I was watching Tim get. And so I learned that if you put down some alcohol first and then you put the alcohol ink down, that it immediately starts to float. I'm going to leave those off. It immediately starts to float in. Oh, what am I doing? That's not a alloy. You do not need to shake your regular alcohol ink. There is nothing in it to mix. You absolutely do not need to shake it. And I don't need to put the tops back on those. Okay, so what I'm trying here is indigo, twilight, purple twilight, and mermaid. I'm trying that for our mermaid color, or our peacock colors, and then we'll add some gold to it. Now there wasn't much alcohol over here. You can see that that's already drying. No worries. Okay, so the thing about using the blower is don't grab it and start going like this, like blood pressure, as Tim says. And you can see if you do it in your hand, you can see how it's moving. It moves the glove. It'll move your skin.
Sylvia likes it.
Oh, cool. They do look like they're turning out to be good peacock colors. A lot of that blue, because I really like that. Okay, so here's something. Sometimes when you're blowing and you see people get these really nice kind of wave-like things, And then you might blow and you get these fingers out here. And you're like, why am I getting all these little fingers? Here, I'm doing that on purpose to try to, why am I getting all these little fingers out here? I want those beautiful waves that they all get. Well, a couple things. One, it's probably getting to where there is no alcohol. And two, I'm just blowing too hard, just like blowing too hard. So I found that, and as it starts to dry out, needs more alcohol, and you can spritz it or squirt it, doesn't matter. And I like to look at that and see what it's going to do on its own even. Let's get some over on this corner. It starts to take on different things. I noticed I tend to kind of analyze things when I'm trying to figure them out. And I would watch Tim's hand, and it seemed like he was kind of going like this. And I'm like, why does he do that? And then I realized that there's a feel, if you're not just, doing this as hard as you can, like you're pumping up a blood pressure, there's a feel for pushing the air and moving this at the same time so that the air is moving. It's not just a puff of air coming on it, but you're moving the air to move the alcohol. And so I started trying to imitate him, and I started getting, now it's getting dry again because I'm talking, and I started getting much better results. Much better that I liked. And sometimes I just get my hand gets a little tired, or it's at the end, or I'm a little anxious or whatever, and I just squeeze it, puff it a little too hard a couple times, and I get those little fingers. I cannot do it backwards very well. You may be more talented than I in that regard, but I don't do that. But you actually can control, look at that, I can control where my air is going, therefore the direction of my alcohol ink. And I used to think, oh, you really have no control over it all. But I'm watching people seem like they have control, and I love that.
Dawn,
go ahead.
Dawn would like to know, what is the purpose of Tim Holtz alcohol pads?
Oh, the little square ones. I didn't even think about those. I think I've got some right here. I will bring those out and show you. Thanks, Dawn. I totally forgot about those. Yeah, there are so many different things, so many different techniques and ways that you can use this. Okay, we've got a lot of the indigo. I feel like we could use a little more of the purple twilight and maybe a hair more of the mermaid. Look how the mermaid looks teal green in here with this. Really, it takes on a very cool color.
Nice.
Let's get a little mermaid over here, just 2 drops. And we'll get a little more of that purple twilight. I love that purple twilight. It is such a pretty one. And we'll spread those a bit. I also like it on the glass because I can just move it around. If I have silicone, it sticks to the silicone and I can't move it as well. But then as soon as I have, ink underneath it, it starts sticking to that. Look at these cool little dots like it's been rained on that I get when I spritz it. So you can get this all moved around and have like a really nice background of color. And then you can say, I want some texture on it. And so you spritz it and you get this cool texture. Or I want some larger. And you bring this over. And I just did 5 or 6 right there, but you can just do 1 drop. And I'm kind of doing these on top of each other, so it's hard to get the full effect. But I know that we don't have time to go through everything that we could possibly do. So you can create all these cool cells by doing that. And then again, you can look at it as a whole, or you can look at it as sections. I like this for that or that for that. I will also tell you that they take on a different look when they dry, when they completely dry, like overnight, I mean. Okay, I don't like as well what it has done there with all that alcohol, and it's washed out my color, so I'm going to add just a little bit. And then I don't want to get too much color because then it just is pushing around color that doesn't have anywhere else to go. Oh, hate gloves. Okay, so I liked what we had before better than I like what we have now. So no big deal. You just keep adding alcohol and it keeps reactivating the ink and you just keep moving it around until you get what you like. And maybe I want something that has a little bit of extra white there because maybe you want to put a black background sentiment right there or something, you know. It's totally up to you and what you're doing. But if I wanted to use the whole thing as a background, I probably want more color there. So let's set that aside for a minute, only because I want to make sure we hit so many things today. But we're definitely going to need to play with these more. And maybe we even do a Saturday Night Live where all we do is play with alcohol. Okay, let's see. I think there's a square one in here. There's square refills. That's all right. Linda, can you entertain the troops a second? I'll be right back and grab one.
Okay.
Oh, Linda, put you in the hot seat.
Uh-oh. I feel like I'm shouting, so.
Don't shout. You don't need to shout. We can hear you. I can hear you.
Okay. Entertainment.
They always like you to sing.
Oh, that's not happening.
Oh, I need another non-singer. Uh-oh.
Really. But, no.
Oh, singing.
I could play some classical music for you, but.
Oh, please don't. Please don't.
Put us all to sleep. Candy laughs. Candy laughs because she's like, she didn't tell you had to do that, did she?
No.
Well, I got my postcard done.
Oh, nice. Oh, that's pretty.
That's nice.
That's pretty. Look how many different colors she used. Love it.
Oh.
Love it. Very pretty. Okay, so here's the Square Ranger tool. And that's not a felt one, that's a blender. Oh, need a felt one. They've got square blenders, which I don't really care for, to go on there. And they've also got square felt pads, white felt. That's what you want. This is an Inkadinkadoo, which is a felt pad. So I'll just use that because. Okay, so let's do. We didn't ever get any gold into that one. We're gonna have to do that. Okay, so the purple and the green. That was originally said. We're gonna drop. No, we're not gonna drop. Okay, I forget what we're doing. We're using these. Okay, this one, the only difference is that it's bigger and it's rectangle. Okay, these are a little bit smaller, but the process of what you do with them is the same. So we have purple, we have green. I am using Limeade and Vineyard. Okay, so we're going to put a couple of drops of Vineyard on here. Actually, more than a couple. I want it nice and bright so you can see it. Okay.
Debbie loves candies.
Oh, yeah, candies is really pretty. And this is Limeade. So we put Vineyard and Limeade on here. And
trouble.
Probably. And Eric's over there getting in trouble. And then the idea is that you take this felt straight to your non-porous surface.
Yeah.
Now,
I want to make some
if I had just gone over that once and stopped, we would see purple and green. I went around to pick up the outside edge and then just picked up the white spots, but it hit the purple and green enough that we've got brown. We've got mud.
Do you have a color wheel?
because they're across from each other on the color wheel.
You don't.
But
You did really good.
let's do this. If you wanted a purple and green background and the whole thing didn't need to be covered, you could do like this. If I don't go over them again or touch them, they will remain purple and green.
And blue and pink can make my purple.
If I go over it again, the purple and green is going to turn to mud. I could do this. I could go down here. But the more I do that, the more it's going to start to turn to mud. Okay, so I may come back in later, put purple and something that's stronger than the green over it, and just play with it again. That's dry. So I could do a little something on top of it and let it be that purple green mud in the background and give it something else. But yeah, it's tougher. I'm not as patient with the things across from each other. I'm not as patient to do all the process that needs to be done so that they don't turn to mud. But you notice that if we used purple and green and we use the blue, which is between them on the color wheel, that it brought them all together and they worked just fine on this one. We didn't get any mud at all on this one. Isn't that interesting? So that's the purpose of the alcohol pads. They're just, all they are is felt. You could make your own. If you've unmounted some of your stamps, your wood-mounted stamps, you can put felt. I would prefer white because then it doesn't take a chance of adding any color into the ink if it happens to pull out any dye from the felt. I don't want to take a chance, but it's for you to put it on here and then apply it.
Color might be on there like pitch black.
I rarely use that. And this one, same thing. That you could put it on there and you could literally just like twist it around, because it's a little bit bigger. So you could twist it and get a full circle or things like that. A little bit easier. Okay, so let's go back to this one for a minute because we didn't add any gold. And so let's add some alloy. Now, we have alloys. We have mixatives. Old package. Where's the mixatives? We have alloys, we have mixatives, and we have pearls. The pearls are,
Don't put them all up in a row.
Here's a gold mixative.
Oh, look at what you're going to
Look
use.
at the gold alloy, the gold mixative look the same.
Here.
The gold alloy, the gold mixative really look the same. So what is the difference? Why would I use one and not the other? Because they do look a lot alike. But they are very different beasts in how they act, in how they function, in how they are made. The alloy, mixatives, and the pearls are extremely different from each other, which is why there are three. I used to think, why, are they just trying to sell us more things? Why are there three different, things to put with? Why are there three different metallics to put with them? Because they all do different things. They have different base ingredients that allow them to do different things. So the alcohol or the mixatives and the alloys, here's the easiest way to remember them. One of them is I've lost my word, not designed, created. What's the word? What's that? Blended. Eric, you're going to get yourself in trouble. One of them is blended, created to mix with your alcohol in it. And the other is blended or created to not mix, but to create clusters.
Not too much.
I'm going to mute you guys for just a second. So it's easy to remember because the one that says mix in it, the mixatives, is blended to mix with your alcohol ink. And the one that doesn't say mix in it is made to not mix. And so they do very different things when you put them down on here. So let's put a little bit of alcohol. trying to do that really light, so I need to get it everywhere. So I don't know where this. I do need to shake these up. Should have already been doing that. Alcohol will dry. You do have to move quickly with alcohol ink because it dries, but it's not a huge deal. You just keep adding alcohol, and all that does is just replace the alcohol that dried out of the ink. And I am amazed, this one little bottle of alcohol, I'm amazed how long it will last me. It seems like I feel like I'm squirting a lot on there, and still I can do session after session after session for 2-3 hours at a time and still never use up that bottle, which really surprises me. But okay, so yeah, we're going to need some more alcohol to reactivate, and we're going to put the alloy down first. Now we're getting all kinds of weird things there. Okay, so I put the alloy down, and you see right away that the alloy, if you tilt the paper, it will just tilt with it, that the alloy clung to itself. It clustered to itself immediately in a little group, and it did not go to the alcohol ink and blend with the alcohol ink. So the alloy is made to create those cool little edges, those cool little clusters. It does not mix with your alcohol ink.
Debbie says she started playing with alcohol inks during the pandemic, and you couldn't find alcohol anywhere.
Oh, I know, Debbie, that is so true. There was a period of time in there where I could not find alcohol at all. And then when I did, finding 91% was near impossible.
Right.
Yeah. All right. This is still wet, so it will still float. And I don't really want it to because I kind of like that. So I guess I should just leave it down there then. But you see how the alloy clusters? See how it clusters together? It's not mixing with the alcohol ink colors. It's complementing them by clustering around them. Oh, I don't want to ruin it. I really liked what I had, but I lifted it up and it started to move. Yeah, it complements it by creating these cool little clusters and things around it and in it and near it. See all these tiny little flecks over here? They're tiny little clusters of the alloy. Okay, so let's move that aside and we'll let it dry. Let's get another combination of 3. Linda, what do you like? You like the peacock colors? Me too. They're my favorite. Okay, so we did the alloy with the, well, okay, let's use the same 3 peacock colors then.
Well, Laura wants greens. You want to do greens?
Oh, just greens, shades of greens. Okay. I don't know that I've ever done just shades of greens. Let's do Everglades, which would be a dark. Maybe we'll just keep adding when we see what we like. Okay. We've got right, go ahead.
Wow.
I know, it's cool, isn't it? It's really cool. You will just be amazed. You'll go, oh my gosh, I'm an artist. Yeah, it is very cool. Alcohol ink is so fun when you at least know what to do with them. You know what you're supposed to do with, how to use them. They are so much fun to play with, and that's the alcohol inks are one of those things that they are a play. You just want to sit down and have a play. Okay, this is Everglades, which is the darkest of the green I'm putting on there, and I'm going to put by it Citrus, which should be nice and bright. It's not quite as bright as Limeade. It's more like which is interesting because Limeade is the brightest one and Citrus is more like a lime, a citrus lime. Okay, and then let's add a little bit of Mermaid. Oh, you know what? Let's give it a little Stream. Stream is a kind of a blue-green, the color of a stream, but it really takes on a beautiful green when you put it with other greens. Okay, it's easy for me to just go crazy and overload it with ink because it's just fun to play with. And then let's give it some gold mixative. I'm going to have to keep hold of that. I get stuff on the...
Doug is here.
Hi, honey. How are ya? Stopped in to watch us make a mess with alcohol ink. Look, I have gloves on. He's like, that's not my wife. She doesn't wear gloves. Ever. Ever. Okay, I'm going to try to keep hold of this little edge here so that I can turn it. And we've got some shades of green, and we put gold on it right away. Didn't even wait until we're done. Do you see immediately the difference in the gold? How the gold is kind of mixing in with, it's not creating all those little clusters that are off to themselves, but it's going right together, just like the colors. Not that they mix completely and make a new color. The colors aren't doing that, but they don't blend, but they mix nicely in that they aren't repelled by each other. And that's what the gold mixative is doing. It's going right in with them as if it's a whole another color. And it is. It just happens to be a metallic. Let's see if we can get something to this corner.
Doug's glad you were wearing gloves.
Yeah, I always look like there's been murder around our house with all the color on my fingers. The red, orange. Okay, now that might have been just one too many colors of green to put on there because, you know, it's not that big of a piece of paper. If it was an 8x10 piece of paper, you could put a bunch on there, but, you know, 5 colors of green, there wasn't a whole lot of room for them to go around and mingle. But you can look at that, even let it dry some, and then say, I really want to bring out a certain color. This right here is the stream. If you really like the stream, or this bright one over here is the citrus. Maybe you want to bring one of those out. Now, it's a lot dry, but if we take this is just an old hair dryer on low. So you can move it around with the old hair dryer. Not as easy when it's drying. This is really dry right here, so this is having a hard time getting across that barrier. We put some alcohol ink there. It will suddenly go over, and that's going to change the whole look. And see how I do the hair dryer with that same motion as the blower, so you can kind of control where you want to put it. So this side is really dry. This side wasn't. So by blowing this side, I got that really muted, cloud-like, flowy look. And this side has much more specific colors, you know, in smaller places. Can you kind of see the difference on the two sides? But if you look at that and you say, I like this side better, or I like that side better, you can change it. You can change either one. You can spritz it, make it wet all over again, which gives it a anyway. What'd you say, Linda?
Angie is here, and I missed Julie. Sorry, Julie.
Hi, Julie. You can drop some drops on it. You can let it do this and get those beautiful cloud-like things, which is, see, as this is drying, it's not completed its transformation yet, but it is dry to the touch. But tomorrow, this will look even different. And I'm looking at it, and I really would like more of this, what was this that we used? Mermaid. I'd really like a little more of that mermaid in here.
Athena says hello.
Hi, Athena. How are you? So if you want to get some looks like this, then you can drop a drop on and just let it be. Don't do anything to it. It is going to reactivate the ink right where it is and create something like that. And if you do that and you say, oh, I just don't like that. I thought I would. I don't. Well, let's just spritz the whole thing, reactivate everything. Oh, well, that might do something really cool that you really like there.
I like
But
that.
if it doesn't, I do too. Then you just, go at it again with the hair dryer or the blower. Now, some people you will see on YouTube use a straw and blow through the straw. You can do that, and if you do, nobody should say anything. If you make it work, then that's okay. I would caution you, though, when you do that, to be very, very careful about not inhaling anything, about making sure that you take your mouth away from the straw. See, I don't like what I did by blowing it. I liked what we got when we spritzed it. Make sure that you remove your mouth from the straw before you inhale, because you do not want to inhale the products that are in these inks. There's different ones and different ones, but specifically if you're using blending solution, you don't want to inhale the blending solution. There's resin in blending solution. There's resin in the pearls. Okay, so
Kathy's Rob is here.
hey, Kat, how are you? Good to see you. I'm glad people had a few minutes to join us today. This one's going to look really cool tomorrow, and I might drop another drop or two of this mermaid, just one over here, maybe one over here. I love the really dark edges, but would like a little more of that color in there. And I love how the mixative gives you these tiny little clumps. It's like it mixes in between, but it doesn't ever mix with. It stays to itself. The alloy. I said that wrong. The alloy. The mixative, the gold mixative, you see, has spread out and mixed with the ink, just like another ink. So I can see that probably a lot of the problem on this one is too much ink, because I got excited about all the different colors of green we had there and put too much ink on. So I'm going to do something. I'm going to put another piece on top of it. I'm not going to squish it down. All it'll do is squish all the ink out of the side. And I don't have a fingernail because I have these silly gloves on.
Athena would like to know what kind of paper you are using.
This is a craft plastic graphics brand, to be exact. I got it on Amazon. It's the same as Yupo. I know Basil I have some Basil craft plastic, I have Yupo, and I have this graphics craft plastic. When you're working with alcohol inks, they will work on any surface as long as it is non-porous. That is the whole key to alcohol inks, is making sure that they are non-porous. It is a non-porous surface. Alcohol inks will stay on anything. So if you want to do something cool with alcohol inks on glass or metal or a non-porous tile, a tile that's been sealed, that is fun to work on. A tile that has been sealed. You know what? It's getting a little dark. So let's just get a little bit of this bright mermaid in here. So this one is light. I mean, that's about all the ink it could hold upside down. But we have a whole nother nice background to start with here, because I got way too much ink on this one to start with, but it's getting a little bit dark for me, so I wanted to add a little bit of bright color. I don't know, Laura, what are you thinking with all the greens? Monochromatic, yet it doesn't look monochromatic, does it? It really doesn't.
Not
But
at all.
you could say, if you're doing a green journal, or a botanical journal, that might be what she's thinking. She does a lot of great botanical things. Maybe you're doing a botanical journal, and you I would just pick out 3. I think we did 5 here. Pick out 5 green colors that fit in with your botanical color palette, and then add just a little bit of a gold mixative or alloy, depending on whether you wanted to get this look, the alloy, or the mixed look with the mixative, and do it with 3 colors. You could make a really cool palette there.
Marianne?
Yeah.
Laura likes it, and Sylvia says this is not for control freaks.
Oh, absolutely. You know what? And I will tell you, if you are, I used to be very much a control freak, And a lot of us are. It's like we sit down, especially if you've been a card maker or a scrapbooker, you like, this is what I want the outcome to be, and I want it to be perfect. I want it to be just like this, and I'm doing this, and this is what I'm going to get. And boom, 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 that's it. If you are a control freak and you want to free that up so that you can, control freaks, we have a real hard time doing things like art journals because nobody is saying, do this and then do that. There's no steps. It's just free. We have a really hard time with that. I had a really hard time learning how to do that. And this is probably one of the best ways I know of for a control freak to learn to let out their inner artist without critic. Because you can control it, yet you can control it. You can control it. You can keep working it over and over and over again till you like what you got. But yet you can never predetermine what your outcome's going to be. You never know what you're going to get with alcohol ink, and that's the beauty of it. So if you are a control freak and you would like to let loose a little bit and be able to bring out that free form art journal or artist that you know is there and you just don't know how to let it go, let's play with alcohol inks. Absolutely. Okay, I like that much better. I think that'd be very cool in one of Laura's journals, one of her botanical floral journals. And even this one, I got a couple splatters over here. I'm not upset about that because there's just a little bit of gold that picked up in there, but that one's a very nice muted green background. And these will look completely different tomorrow. I promise. If you let them, not completely different, but they will be different. If you let them dry overnight and you come back and look at them, you will be surprised at what happens with the color. As it completely dries all the way through, it takes on a whole different look. And sometimes I have walked away from something and gone, oh, I've worked it to death. I don't like it still. I'm just going to leave it. I'll come back tomorrow and I'll start reworking it. And I come back tomorrow and it looks different. And I'm like, oh, well, that's not so bad. That's a whole new palette to start with. Very different. So yeah, alcohol ink is so much fun.
Kathy would like to know, what is the name of the mixative?
Oh no, what was that?
I don't know what that was. Did you hear that question?
Did you hear that, Gabby?
I think she's breaking up.
Wow, that was like
Oh,
an old-time record that got caught.
oh, you're even breaking up.
Uh-oh.
It might be me.
I went around and around. Oh, hang on just a second. Hang on. Hang on.
Can you hear me, Linda?
I can hear you, yes.
Okay, I can hear you. Can you hear me okay? Am I breaking up?
No, you're fine.
Okay, I think it was Marianne then.
That's good because my voice is going. Okay, well.
Here,
Candy, do you know what the name of that mixative was?
which one?
The one in the one that, oh my God. Never
Was
mind.
it yeah, well, this is the big thing. Me and Eric, Eric's helping me, so we're trying to now go.
That was terrific. That is fantastic.
Let's
Look at
see.
all those alcohols. Oh my goodness.
She had gold. I mean, there's gold.
She had
Gold.
two golds.
It was a
Gold.
gilded.
One was a mixative and the other was an alloy. Right?
Were they gold, ladies?
They were both gold, I think.
Well, the alloy is gilded. There's only one, and it's a gilded. The mixative, I think, it's just called gold.
Okay, that's good. There you go. Now I forget who asked the question. This was back there.
Be Marianne right there. Hold on.
Was that you, Athena? I think that was Athena. Or Kathy. No, it was Kathy, I think. Yeah, I saw your picture, Glenn, as I was trying to interrupt. I'm having trouble interrupting.
You'll learn.
I'm trying to wait for the exact right moment to say.
There is no exact right moment.
No, there isn't. And I'm trying to get, I mean, she doesn't stop talking. So
No, well, because she doesn't like dead air. That's the big thing. So
and we're trying to get so much in this 2 hours that
yeah, don't.
we should just keep quiet.
No. Can't keep quiet.
All right.
Oh, there she goes.
That was a StreamYard issue.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, that was a little strange. That's only happened to us once or twice before. One time it kicked me out completely. Wouldn't let me back in. One time we had a power outage. What were we talking about right before that happened? I don't even remember.
I don't. But Glynis sent you a picture.
Okay, give me just a second and we'll grab that and take a look. Let's see, get these over by their kind of sort of common colors. Okay, so what I wanted you to really understand the difference between alloys and mixatives. This is gold, alloy on the left, mixative on the right. Mixative is intended to mix with your colors, so it'll move around with them and form with them. Alloy is intended to be repelled by and stand on its own. And that's where you'll get all these teeny tiny little clusters. Alloy is intended to cluster. They're both very cool looks. It just depends on what you want, at any given time. So just be aware of what they do so you can choose the right one. Because if you're wanting to get the cluster look and you put in a mixative, it's going to mix and you're not going to get that look at all, or vice versa. And that's really frustrating. You're like, how do they get those cool little teeny tiny gold clusters everywhere? I can't get it to do any of that. And it's because you're using a mixative.
Julie likes it. She likes that
Julie.
the one in the middle.
Okay, cool.
She likes that one and says don't add anything to it. I like the way it is too. The one in the
little frame around the edge. I do like it too as well. I'm going to find Glynis's photo that she sent. Let's see here. Okay, so this is what Glynis has been doing. Here's the first one. Ooh, love the purples and blues. That is pretty. Let's see if we can not get that light in there to reflect. Yeah. Very pretty. And then her second one, she's using the same colors that we are. So the second one was all green at Laura's request. And come on. There we go. The second one was all green.
Nice.
Yeah. So you can tell that she used an alloy in one and a mixative in the other. And, the thing with alcohol ink is you can leave it as splotchy or as streaked or as soft as you want. So if you want some things that have good, hard lines of color, do it. If you want just super soft background like that, do it. If you want the splotches of gold between, do it. If you want the gold mixed in with it, do it. Silver, whatever. That's why there's so many different mixatives and alloys. So you get every metal. They're all metals, except the snow cap. And I would like to try the snow cap or the pearl. That would be really pretty. There is a pearl mixative. Don't confuse that with the pearls. It's not a pearl. It's a pearl mixative. So I'd like to try that with black, maybe a black and a pink. I think would be really pretty. But let's talk about pearls for a minute. And then we can go back and just try some things that you want to try. So be thinking about what you might want me to try. But I would like to make sure that you understand the pearls, because they are probably the most unique beast of all of these inks, alloys, mixatives. So if there's a lot on here and it doesn't all come up right away with a baby wipe, I will either put some hand sanitizer on it or just give it a little bit of alcohol, which reactivates it and makes it come up super easy. Because sometimes I just go and it gets built up on top of itself. And see, I'll just leave that. Okay. Get a semi-clean surface so the paper might turn.
Clean surface? No.
I know. I said semi-clean. Oh, you can't see this, the big old spots down here, huh? I'll just leave that till later.
Mine. Clean. No.
No such thing as clean surface. Okay. So let's just do like a swatch of pearls. So I told you that when I'm gonna work with pearls, I even brought out those brand new Tim Holtz ones that honestly I just opened the package today. I hadn't even opened the package of them. But pearls have a mixing ball because pearls have resin in them. So again, you don't want to be inhaling resin. So you want to shake them up, get that mixing ball moving. Hi, KK. All right. Oh, sorry. I just glanced over there and the K's kind of jump out at me. And I thought, oh, I don't know how long she's been here. I don't want her to think I missed her. Okay, so we're getting the pearl move in, and you can tell when there's no more resin sitting on the bottom. All right, and so this is Enchanted, which is really cool, used with some of the other colors. We're just going to drop a few drops on here so you can kind of see what it does. Actually, you do not have to put the lids back on. It's habit because of the glue. Every time we use glue, I'm putting the lid back on. Tim says that there are, it's formulated so that you can see a couple of drops, not even a couple, one drop will stay right there at the top. And it's kind of closing the top so that air can't get in and the alcohol can't evaporate. And it's intended to do that so that you can leave them off the whole time that you're working with them. Okay, so this is Enchanted. And I just dropped a couple of drops there. And you can see that it has a really nice shine, a glisten, like a pearly surface to it. If I turn it that way, you can see that pearly surface. Okay, but that's not what we want. You know, we want to use it with all the other things. We want a cool pearly surface, maybe like we want the gold and the metallics throughout. Maybe we'd like that pearl throughout. How are we going to get that? So typically, when people get a pearl, they treat it just like the regular alcohol inks. And let's spray it with alcohol. What does it do when we spray it? Yes.
Julie would like to know, what is the biggest size of those glass boards you get?
The biggest of these? This is a weird memory keepers that I've had forever, and it's only, I think it's 14 by 13. I've had it forever. I have two of them side by side. That's why you can see this seam down here. They're only 14 by 13. Then I have the Tim Holtz one, which is probably about the same as both of these together. So I don't know. I honestly don't know what the biggest one is available. I'm getting all the ink coming off of my gloves. Part of the reason I don't like gloves. Okay, so I sprayed it with alcohol. And what has happened? Not much of anything. So the alcohol moved out, brought a little bit of color with it, but not much happened, really. So let's put some blending solution on it. Oh, now it's starting to transform. Actually, it's actually become fluid again. with the blending solution. We'll move it just a little bit. We only put a few drops there. And it takes on, this is probably going to be hard to see, and you'll see it better when we start using it with something else. But it didn't move. It wasn't workable at all with the alcohol, but it was with the blending solution. And it is intended to be that way. The blending solution is scientifically created with a resin in it for a purpose. Alcohol pearls are scientifically created with that same resin in them for a purpose. The alloys and the mixatives do not have resin in them. Okay, they work great with ink. They work great with blending solution. The pearls only work with blending solution.
Yeah.
So that's the one thing that I want you to remember, is that pearls only work with blending solution. Now, as this dries, it'll take on a whole different sheen. And so if you go put, now, sometimes if you put a bunch of this on so it's a little bit thicker, and then you spritz it with alcohol, you get a bunch of little clumps of the pink. And if that's the kind of texture you're looking for in a specific piece that you're doing, then great, you know how to get it. You know, you're going to get it with the alcohol. But if you want it to blend or move or do anything, then you have to use blending solution. And so, you know, I get going with things with the alcohol ink, and I rarely use the blending solution, but I always use the blending solution when I'm using alcohol pearls, because that is the only thing that activates them. So I did the same thing as everybody else that I've known that's gotten the pearls and said, they're so pretty, but I don't like the way they work. So I don't like them. I'm not going to buy any more. I did the same thing because I assumed I'm going to use them the same as all the others. Until I found out, again, and watching Tim a bunch of times and realizing that, it's because they don't work with alcohol. They only work with blending solution. Let's try this one. This is might be a little dark, but we're going to put blending solution out here. Instead of alcohol, I'm going to put some blending solution. Might be a little dark, but we'll see. What I used was Slate, regular alcohol ink, and Enchanted alcohol pearls. Look how it's blending, how beautifully it's blending. I mean, if you need to see, you can try the same thing and use ink or use alcohol instead of blending solution, and you will see instantly that they do not blend. It will not move. When you put the alcohol, the only thing you have is whatever you put on as regular ink over the top of the other one.
Marianne?
Yeah.
Julie would like to know if you know how to make your own blending solution.
I know that there are recipes out there, but I have never tried it. Have you tried it, Julie? I know there are recipes for a lot of things. Maybe sometime I'll try it. It's interesting because a lot of the things that we do homemade recipes for, because they're obviously a whole lot less expensive. Some work just as well, and others just don't. Like, you can make your own gel plates at home. I personally don't feel like they work as well as the commercial ones. They just have different properties to them. But blending solution, I don't know. Maybe that would be one of the things that would work great.
Julie says she hasn't tried it yet.
Oh, well, we're going to have to try it. Okay, I'm tipping this a little bit just to let it run, which will give me a little darker edge there. Trying to get it to cross. Sometimes you like those little white spaces. Maybe sometimes you want to fill them all up. And I only want to run around the edge. I don't want it to run in the center. So this was Slate, which is a really dark gray, almost black. I do have pitch black, but I thought the Slate might be pretty. And Enchanted, which looks really bright pink in the bottle, but what a nice soft color. If this was a larger piece of paper, I would probably have done a drop or two of pitch black, a drop or two of slate, and then 4 to 6 of the enchanted. So they're still balanced, but I'd get a little bit of that gray, like dusk, and then a little bit of that pitch black, because I like the sharp contrast of the black and the pink, and then the enchanted throughout. And just kind of letting it sit and do its own thing. And again, and I'll post pictures of these, but I'm not going to take the pictures until tomorrow. I'm going to let them completely dry before I do, because this is going to look really cool. And that circle is just growing bigger and bigger. And if you don't want it, or you let that go out, you could put 1 drop of enchanted right in the middle and let it go out and fill it up. And you'd have variegated shades of the pink out to that slate. Look really cool. So let's set that one aside. I do not want to put anything wet on these and ruin that. Does that make sense on the pearls? Does that, using the blending solution only, not the alcohol, does that make perfect sense to everybody? I really want to make sure that that's something everybody understands, because I know a lot of you have pearls and probably haven't liked them. I can think of several of you who have told me I don't like pearls. And I know it's because the same thing that I had. I didn't know how to use them properly. So let's try something else. I've got these brand new pearls. That's so dark. That's called Opulent. I've got these brand new pearls. Scorch. Ooh, let's try Scorch. That came out from Tim Holtz that I just opened up today. Let's see, what color alcohol ink should we put Scorch with? Maybe a yellow? Maybe a yellow and an orange. How about a yellow and a sunset orange?
I think yellow.
What'd you say, Linda? I couldn't hear, I'm sorry.
Yellow.
Oh, cool.
Or jello.
There you go. Jello! I'm going to try Sunshine Yellow and Sunset Orange, and then this Scorch. And I don't really know what Scorch is going to look like because I just opened it, but it sounds like it would probably go well with these. So let's find out. And it really needs to be shook up. So yeah, just let the pearls sit on their sides if I'm going to be using them, so that it doesn't take me as long to mix them up. Oh, that's the ink. That's the pearl. Yeah, because the regular inks you do not have to mix. The mixatives and the alloys you could set on their side as well. But the pearl has that resin in it. So it is going to, it always seems to just take me a little bit longer to get that, to get it mixed up. Okay, so we've got Scorch, we've got Sunset Orange, and we have Sunset Orange, Sunshine Yellow. Yeah. All right, we're using blending solution because we're using a pearl. Otherwise, I could just use alcohol, but if I'm going to use a pearl, I need blending solution. So it doesn't necessarily get everywhere, except when I have a little piece of paper and I'm just totally overboard. So let's get some Sunshine Yellow out there. Try not to do too much. I'm not used to working with such small pieces of paper, and I always do too much of everything. I get excited and I'm like, oh, more. Oh, look at that Scorch. That's pretty. That is really pretty. Even if you roll the bottle in it.
Even better.
All right, let's see. Let me try to take hold of the corner. Look at that. They kind of look like tree rings. I kind of almost don't want to. You know what? Let's just try this for a minute. I kind of don't want to ruin the tree rings. They look really cool. I've got enough alcohol on there that I can just I can just do a drip instead of, I like these kind of things too.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah, so I might do like that and then leave it and even prop it up a little bit like that to dry so that it doesn't go back, but I keep those striations.
Oh, KK is here, and she has COVID.
Oh, KK, I'm so sorry. Yeah, we just got over it here. Ours were like really bad head colds. How's yours? Is it that same variant? Okay, I'm gonna set this.
It feels like strep throat.
Yeah, sore throat, head congested. Ugh. Okay. We've got this pink pearl on here. This is enchanted. Okay, it's kind of, you know what? I took that just off camera so you can hardly see that, but this is going to look so cool when it's dry. Our striations started kind of blending together a bit, but they're still there. And when it dries, we're going to see that contrast. It's kind of like, it almost looks like underwater looking through like a jellyfish to see something else, or down in a cave where there's, something hanging down and you're looking through it. And if you put your finger on it, you're going to see. Oh, I hate when that happens. But then I'd probably, I got to hold it somewhere. So I grab the edge and I put my fingernail on it. But, might just end up cutting it off there and using the part that I like. That's going to look really cool, though. Let's see, without getting any scorch on it. Look how this one is starting to look. Mm-hmm. We're going to get more glare from these because of the pearl resin in it. But as this one dries, this look is going to be really cool.
That's very interesting.
Yeah. I like the interesting, the different, the unique. So we've got this pearl sitting on here. What color ink should we try with that and try to reactivate it and see what we can get? We could even put another pearl with it if we want.
Julie said you need to hold it with tweezers.
Julie, let's see. Are my tweezers here? I took a bunch of my tools, most of my tools, over to the other desk, and I didn't bring them back. I didn't think I needed.
And Laura says not Twizzlers.
Not Twizzlers. Oh, you mean chocolate Twizzlers won't work?
No.
Okay. No, I'm out then.
And
never mind.
Glenna says try black with the pink.
Oh, that would be pretty. Pitch black. Let's see, because we did slate, so let's try pitch black. And what if we try a mixative? We'll have a pearl, a mixative, and a regular alcohol ink. And should we try the pearl mixative or the snow cap mixative? They're both going to be metallic, but the pearl is going to be more pearly, pearl essence. Either one. Let's try snow cap. I don't even know if I've used that one before. Well, I probably have because the lid's off, but I don't remember. It's been long enough. Okay, so we've got that pink. We're going to open up the enchanted just in case we need a little bit more, because that's pretty dark color we're bringing onto it. We're going to give it blending solution because we're using a pearl. If it was only an ink and a mixative, we could stick with alcohol. But because it's a pearl, we need blending solution. So, that just reactivating it looks really cool. This is pitch black. I love when it drops, the design it gets. If you can see this, it's like an eyeball. Oops. It's like an eyeball, and then it all kind of goes together and it disappears. But it is the coolest thing when it very first drops. Okay, that's probably enough black.
Say hi to Gigi. Hi,
Gigi. How are you doing? Oh, I forgot to shake this mixative up. Shoot. Listen, you can't even hear the ball moving yet. Like, oh, that's a little thick coming out. Yeah. Darn it. Shake. Oh. Listen to that. It still don't have the ball moving. Wow. See, I don't know if I've ever even used this one. Could end up having to give it more blending solution. It's going to dry. Wow. Well, let's see if it'll work. I still didn't hear the ball even moving. That's coming out better. Yeah, for sure. I think that white, and maybe the white, we should wait and put that on at the very last, just to kind of edge some things. I don't know. This is the fun of experimenting with alcohol ink. You're like, this would look really cool. Do I put them all on at the same time? Or do I wait, put that on at the end just to get that little edge around the black with the white? What do? So I'm going to try to move them around without just completely blending them together, because I don't want just a big gray mess because of all that black.
Does anyone know where Margie is?
Oh, she was here. So I'm going to say she's probably having internet issues. They've been having a lot of storms and internet issues because she was here at the beginning.
Okay, everybody's wondering where she is.
Oh, yeah, she was here at the beginning. So I'm betting that she's having, and she's probably cursing her internet provider right now because, okay. I'm going to give a little blending solution over here because there's just a lot of black, and I want to bring a little pink. And I put the blending solution so the pink would for sure have something to carry it. I've got to learn to do this backhanded because I can't do that very well. Okay, the white, putting the white on at the same time, the white and the black created a really pretty gray. So we have the black, the gray, the pink, but we really don't see the white snow cap by itself. So what I would say is that we would probably want to do it with black and pink. And then when we're all done or almost done, like at this point, add some, well, let's try it. Let's try, because I haven't tried it. Let's try. I think this would be the point to add a little bit of white on and try to get a little bit of snow cap white. I personally think it's easier to work on larger pieces of paper. I know Tim always used small ones for demonstration, but I personally think it's easier because you just have more space to move it. And if you don't like exactly what you have, you can add alcohol or blending solution, and you've got more space for it to run and move and create something new. I feel kind of confined in a small. I don't know. I don't know that I like that snow cap so much with the black and the pink. I really liked the way when we put it together, it created that nice gray because it was a very nice transition color, that gray between the black and the white. And we're not getting a clear white. You could create a snow cap. So, okay, so here's another thing that you could do. I'll take this one and use it as an example. I do this quite a bit. Want a little brush here. It's kind of fat, but oh well. Let's say that this was the black and the pink, and it was dry. If it was dry, I'd use that one. But maybe I did it so that it almost looks like a pink sky and the black hills, so they're kind of black and gray, and maybe the pink is down among them a little bit, so it's almost like reflection. And I want to add a little bit of the snow cap, get the right end of the paintbrush. I just put a little bit down here. This is exactly how I do, if I'm going to do gold or silver, I'll use a mixative or an alloy on those. I'll just put some right here. In fact, I made a TikTok doing that, just a few seconds. And then just take that and paint it on. And so say these were mountains, you could just do a little bit of snow cap across the top. Yeah, it's not a mountain, so it's not going to give the same look at all. But the idea is there that, you know, you could create that mountain peak look with snow on it by doing this with a paintbrush. And then it doesn't mix in with the black and just create that gray. I might take some pink to this after. It's going to totally change the look we had that I really liked. So, but maybe, you know, you can add anything you want to it by just painting it on after the fact, after it's dry. This isn't 100. I mean, it's dry to the touch, but it's not. I would let it sit 24 hours. And I definitely wouldn't do this one yet. And so this one might be cool. It's almost cloud-like. When this is completely dry, I might take some of that white and just do with a very fine, not this brush, but very, very fine brush, do some very fine white edges on some of the black. Might look really cool. But yeah, it might be cool to get some gold into this here and there. But sure, do that. Why not? Why not? Do whatever you want with it. Another thing you can do, let's see if there's one that, maybe we could do it on this one because there's not a whole lot on that one.
That's pretty.
Go ahead. What did I miss?
I like it.
Oh. What's a color you would put with this green? Maybe a little more of that mermaid? Or...
I would use that for the amount of a tag. I can hear myself.
That would be a good tag base.
Yellow. What yellow is it?
A yellow?
Yeah.
I was just thinking about a mixative or an alloy. Just change direction there. What about a mixative or an alloy? A gold or a, what is this? A rose gold, copper.
I like just the way it is.
Copper gold statue. Let's try statue. I don't know. Why not? And as soon as we do this, then we're going to do string poles. Okay, so you could take this.
You have less than half an hour.
Okay, thank you. We could put this down, or I could even just put some straight onto this splatter brush. That's all this is a splatter brush. And go like this. And splatter. These are very fine splatters. Let's try it down here and see if it gives a little bit better. I haven't done it with the alloys and the mixatives. I usually do it with the ink itself. Ooh, that's kind of cool. It's becoming kind of cosmic-like.
Nice.
Oh, now it's getting some white in with it. Let's see what happens there. I'm all for just experimenting. And you can splatter on them.
That's nice. Very nice.
So, you know, maybe it's good, but it just needs a little bit of something. Maybe you need a little bit of splatter, not a whole nother dose of, you know, ink to have to work again. All right, I'm going to move this over. Let's do string pulls. String pulls are fun. Okay, I got to get okay, what we need is 2 or 3 colors. They need to be beside each other on the color wheel to use for string pulls. If anybody has anything that they really want to see. Bright colors are very pretty.
Before you start that, Marianne, Glenn sent 2 photos.
Okay, cool. Let me grab those and we can see what she has been doing. Okay, that is a pearl. And I guess it probably doesn't even matter which lid goes back on as long as the lid goes back on. I like brighter colors. Tend to turn out really nicely when we do string pulls. Excuse me. Okay, let's see. Glynis, man, she's going to town. Holy cow. Those are beautiful. There's one.
Pretty.
That pretty, yeah. Even with that shadow in it, it's pretty. And the other one. Great job, Glynis. Oh, come on. The other one just doesn't want to open. There it is. Okay. All right. So look at this one. And you can see the ink. Now look right here. You see that really cool shimmer on the certain area? That's a pearl. That's a pearl. And as long as you use blending solution, you could move that out or among or with the ink colors as much as you want. Or you could leave it in just certain areas. But that's that shimmer. It's that pearly essence, pearly shimmer that you will get with the pearls. So you get a very different look with the pearls than you do with the mixatives and the alloys. And that's why there are 3 different kinds of things to use with them, because they all give you a different result. Oh, you know what else I brought over here? I took a whole bunch of these out of their molds, and then I thought maybe I should show you. Just don't be afraid to bend these plastic molds, and just, you can almost hear them crack, because I get a lot on the edge, and so you'll hear it crack away. And I'm bending the mold instead of my paste that I put in, because I'm trying to get all of the paste out. If I start taking it out and some of it is sticking in here, that means it's not dry all the way through. And so I need to leave it longer. And here's a perfect example. I took them all out this morning, the ones I tried to take out the other day and they didn't come out. Okay, this was the old telephone from Lady Vagabond. It is not completely dry. The center pulled out and I just stuck it back in there with my finger. And this, number 7 and number 8, they kind of stuck in there too. They just weren't completely dry. They all should have come out just like this, the 1, 2, 3, 4, which came out really nicely. So just let them stay there. It's been super, super humid here. And I just need to be patient. So usually I do them and I just set them up on a shelf and then kind of forget about them. There's her goggles. And this is just super light. This is just the cream paste. And you can do, remember I said alcohol ink goes on any surface that is non-porous. We could do alcohol ink on this. In fact, I want to drop just I'm going to do this. Maybe I should have spritzed it. This one's going to be fun to play with to see what colors give us that metal look that we want. But I could try some slate, try some mushroom, try some silver metallics. So there's some slate going through it already. Here's some mushroom. There's a couple, mushroom and moss, that you might not think of a lot. They kind of sound like boring colors. Those are 2 I will not be without, because when you put them with other things, they start to do amazing things. That's starting to look cool. So you could even do some different colors in here and get that bottom look. And even some of the mixatives or alloy. And then when it's all done and it's all dry, go back over the top of it with a metal gilding, a gilding paste or a mousse, a nouveau mousse or a wax, and just hit the edges and even let those be kind of sporadic, so that some of it is old and dingy and some of it you see the shine through the old and dingy. This is going to be a fun one to play with, this metal wall. So I was excited to take that one out. Okay, so we are going to
Marianne,
yes.
Gigi would like to know if it's possible for you to write out when you would use the pearls, mixative alloys, and what they tend to do.
Maybe. Won't happen for a couple weeks for sure, because, you know, all the things we've got going. But yeah, I think we could probably do that. Okay, I'm going to move all of these away because the only tool I'm going to use with the string pulls is, might need that. The only thing I'm going to use with the string pulls is the alcohol. Alcohol ink, I'm sorry. I don't need any alcohol. I don't need any blending solution. I just need alcohol ink. And I typically do it with 2 or 3 colors together that blend really nicely. Let's see. Oh, this is going to be a big, ugly mess right here. But let's get some of that up. We can do something else over the top of it. Here, not much of anything, but and then because we need to use this space and we don't want black mixing with it. All right, so those peacock colors would be really pretty in a string pull. Okay, we'll move that over. Oops. Just want to make sure that that is dry. Okay, let me show you what a string pull is. Here's a few. Now, the key to a string pull, if you want to do it along with me, is that the string is cotton. Cotton with no coating on it. Cotton with no coating. If I do it with cotton that is coated, like I've tried using the string that I bind the books with, and it has a little bit of a coating. I didn't think it was that coated, but it has a little bit of a coating. Does not work. I can't get a decent pull to save my life. This one was done with a piece of rickrack. Exactly like this. Just that baby rickrack. I could probably work with it and get it to work a little bit better, but not so good because it's thick, because it's too wide. This one was also done with the baby rickrack. I love the texture that it gives, and this one also had a mixative in with it. I love the texture it gives, but it doesn't work so well because the rickrack is too wide. So that's what we're going to do right now. So to do this one, you need 2 pieces of paper for each one you do. And I'm going to just use regular, this is cardstock. It's a pretty light cardstock. It's not dark at all. I mean, heavy at all. It's a pretty light. Let me move these out of the way. And let's see, what were those 3 colors that we got a real pretty, sailboat blue would be good. Aquamarine would be good. Glacier, let's see, it was mermaid. And I think it was vineyard. Yep. And what was the blue? I don't think it was stream. It was cobalt or indigo. There we go. Maybe we want to go the cobalt. Okay, we'll do that. All right, so we're going to use 3 on this one. So regular string, fairly thin string. I also have tried it with a thicker string like this, and I don't personally like the results I get. It just drags more ink and covers more space and doesn't give you any of the cool textures in it because it's all covered with ink, because there's so much string that is just dragging all the ink. So I lent my ink, my ink. I lent my roll of string to Doug, and I'm not sure where it is, and I didn't want to go hunt for it. So I have this. This is craft yarn. It's probably like an embroidery floss. Maybe it's even tatting type stuff, but there's actually 4 strands, but it's 100% cotton. So I thought, that would work. It's 100% cotton. So I will take the 4 strands and divide them into, I usually cut it off first. You don't need a whole bunch. You really need 18 inches or less. 12 inches probably would do it, but I like to have a good handhold down here, or it gets a little more difficult to pick it up and pull. So 12 inches maybe I'll use, and then I cut another 6 just to have sticking out. I'm not worried about wasting the string. So I'm going to divide that 4-strand string into 2 strands, and I will use this 1 strand. I'm trying not to put this over that seam there. I want it in the middle, but yet I'm trying to make sure that I don't cover that seam. So, okay, so now once we put the ink down, we have to move fairly quickly because it is alcohol ink and it will start to dry immediately. So I've got my 3 colors. Sometimes I use 2, sometimes I use 3. This is Mermaid, Vineyard, and Cobalt. And I am going to put a fairly generous amount of each of those down here. I'm not putting them on top of each other. I'm putting them next to each other. And they will touch each other, and that's okay. And then I'm going to quickly take my string, and I'm just going to put my string in it. I'm not dragging it around. I'm just laying in it and letting it soak ink. So there will be different colors of ink in different spots on the string. Okay, and because it's cotton, it'll wick and pull it right up there. All right, and then I'll pick it up, and I tend to always grab this same pen. I want to make sure that it's hanging straight. This is super lightweight, pretty thin. Come on circle. We don't have time for this because it's going to dry. All right, and I'm going to bring this over here, and I'm going to just lay it down. And I'm going to try not to drag it when I lay it down. I'm just laying it down, bringing the tail down here. I'm putting the second piece over the top. I'm putting my hand on it. I'm grabbing the tail, and I'm pulling the string out. And there's your cool string pull. Now, you can play around with how you lay the string down. So you can see that I went 2 times around that to lay that down. Maybe I use a shorter string and I only go from in here to out here and around there and down. And then the pull is going to look even more like a flower. Does that make sense? So you can kind of lay it however, obviously you can lay it however you want. And let's grab a couple more of these. This is still kind of wet. I can let's just do that. I can ignite this. It is going to be a little runnier. Not a little runnier, a little thinner, because I have thinned out the ink with that alcohol now. So we'll see how much. It's kind of dry, not picking up a ton. So I'm going to put some more on. And I'm remembering where I put which, and I'm putting them in the same spot over their same color. And if part of it doesn't have anything on it, it's okay, because, I didn't mean to do that much this time. Let's just do this. Okay.
Hi, Jasper. Say hi to Jasper.
Hey, Jasper, how are you? Good to see you. Okay, so there's a smaller, and you're just going to get mirror image on both sides. So this one I wound around twice and got a little bit bigger. And then that one was smaller. And you can play with however you want to wind it around. I throw this away between every one and grab a new one. I have these little rolls of twine, and they are, I believe they're 100% cotton, and they've got color on them, but I don't believe they have any coating on them. And so I cut a couple of those. I wanted to try a couple of those and see how they would work. I've never tried them before. I usually try to do just a neutral, a white or cream colored string, partly because I don't want any color from the string coming off into my ink and changing. You know, if you want this color, and then this is really drying up, and then you go change the color of the ink by having, you know, yellow come out to play from the string, then it's totally going to change everything you have. Okay, let's see if I can get more of this in there. Over there. It's really drying up. This has lots of little wispies on it, though. You know how that twine does? Lots of little fibers sticking out. And so I wondered if all those little fibers might give a cool texture. It might not even work. I don't know. Let's try it. Ooh, that's cool on the back. Ooh. Can you see all the little striations in this one?
That one came out gorgeous.
Yeah, different than the others. It's got lots of little texture striations. And that's because this twine has all those little fibers sticking out of it everywhere. I like that. I like that a lot. I like that a lot. I might use more of those. Let's hope I didn't sell all the twine. Okay, so now say I want to do some in some different colors, and I've got this here. I really don't want to just wipe it up with a baby wipe, because what a waste, you know? What a waste.
You know, you can wipe that up with I use a watercolor paper.
Yeah, that's I do have some watercolor paper here too. Sometimes I do those on watercolor paper, so either way. But I don't want to waste that, because that's a lot of good alcohol ink. So I'm going to spray it and try to activate it all.
Geez, just kick me out, Marianne.
And then I'm going to take a bit. Now this is what is this? Oh, this is a piece of plastic paper. So it's like Yupo.
Yeah. That's how I clean up my mat at the end. I just spray it and I get funky.
The only time I do it in between is when I'm doing the string pulls, because I need to use the same space.
Yeah.
Now, that is really cool. I want to let that sit just enough that it can dry.
And I use watercolor paper because I want to spray it.
Yep. Now here's
all the pieces that were left.
Yes. Here's a piece of watercolor paper. They do make amazing backgrounds. This is the Smush background I was talking about. And I know a lot of you already do this with different types of things. Okay, that was heavy on the purple because it's all been mixed up. No biggie. We just leave it there till the next one, and then we add something else to it. I would like to add some more of that mermaid or aquamarine or something that's a little bit lighter to that. But love this.
Gigi says use dryer sheets and wipe up and then make flowers out of it.
Good idea.
Yeah, you can do that. The same thing with baby wipes. So if you wipe it up, if you wipe it up with baby wipes, just let them dry and then use them to make flowers, just like the dryer sheets.
Right.
We've always done that with the baby wipes that we use. And I just ended up having so many, I started throwing them away. But
you have 5 minutes. 5 minutes.
What?
5 minutes.
Okay, thank you. So yeah, the only reason I do that in between, save this and put more color on that. The only reason I do that in between is because I want you to do different colors for the next pull. But I really love, like this. This is just as good as if we had put those colors down on a paper and blown it around, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
And then if you want to add some metallic to it, you could do that with a paintbrush. Really love that. Okay, another color grouping, something completely different from the peacock. Maybe something. Oh, how about sunset colors? Pink and orange and red.
Yes.
What do you think? Does that work? Let's see. Let's go sunset orange. And where's Ember?
Well, Eric wants you to use them all.
Yeah.
As you can see from my colorful thing, we
All
put
at the same time. All at the same time, Eric. Is that what you're saying? And we'll go flamingo. Flamingo, sunset orange, and ember is what we'll do with these three. Okay, so I try to get everything ready to go. So the putting the ink down is the last thing I do, so it doesn't have time to dry. And we throw that one away. I've got two more already cut here of that one that's full of fibers, the little twine. So I'm going to use those because I love what that did. So I tried different things. I tried thicker string. I tried some of this trim, and it because I thought maybe I'd get some cool stuff from that, and I didn't. All I got was just a big fat, blotch of smeared paint or ink. Okay, so let's see here. We've got flamingo and sunset orange and ember. And then you could take these after the fact and go back and do some metallics on these string pulls. And that looks really cool. Come on. This one, it seems, because it's twine, it's a little more rigid. And so it has a harder time the floppy cotton just goes right down into it. But the more rigid twine, I'm having to tell it to go into the ink. Make that drop off the end so I don't just get a big old splotch here. Let's see, I'm trying to turn it that way. There we go.
No, Jenny, that's Candy.
Linda, Cook, and Candy are both here today. Let's see. Okay, this will be interesting because that's kind of very circle-like. Get the tail down here. Not so good. The orange sunset and the ember really overtook the pink flamingo. Needs something more.
Color, close in color if you can't see.
Yeah, exactly. Let's add some gumball. Some bright pink. And see if we can get. And I don't like the way I laid it down in just a total circle.
I like it.
Do you?
I do.
And, and that's the thing is we all like different things, and I might come back tomorrow and like it better. And I might also like it if I do something else with it. Oops, I just moved the camera, bumped it. Hopefully it's still kind of sort of where you can see. And that twine just wants to do its own thing. The cotton is easier, just the straight old plain cotton thread or string is much easier to work with. The twine is because it's much more rigid.
Oh, I like that though.
That is kind of heart-like, isn't it?
Yes, it's like a heart.
That is kind of cool. Okay, so
You gotta go now.
all right, so let's take this watercolor one. We're going to add some more alcohol to this.
It's 4 o'clock, Marianne.
Okay, we're just going to clean this up and we'll end up right here. So let's remind everybody to go back into any of the videos and comment and leave hashtag 1000 subs so you can get in the drawing for the big box of crafting supplies. And don't forget to go to hppcreate.com and get yourself on the VIP list. I received a shipment yesterday for the subscription boxes, and I'm so excited. We're getting really close. We're going to have a launch. It will be a short launch. VIPs will have first option of going in and getting into the subscription box, and then it'll be open to the public for a short period of time, and then it will go. So I'm really excited about that. So far, that's not a whole lot of anything, but you know, you just keep adding to it, and it'll become what it becomes. But so that's the string pull. We can do more of those. Maybe on a Saturday Night Live, we'll do more just playing with alcohol ink, because there's so many more techniques and things that you can do with them. But lots of fun. Thanks for hanging with us, everybody. We appreciate you being here. Hi, Lisa. Hi, Lisa. Bye, Lisa. We do appreciate you all being here and supporting us. Thank you so much, Linda and Candy, for being here and helping me. I can't play any longer because I do have a doctor's appointment, but we'll do it again another time. Alcohol ink is tons of fun. So thank you again. It is Monday. Have a great rest of your Monday, and we will see you soon. Love you.